Arcadian Vanguard presents the Wrestling News and your daily wrestling newscast for Friday, July 28th, 2023. Good morning, I'm Mike Sempervive. We begin with last night's episode of Ring of Honor, which streamed on ROH's Honor Club streaming service and featured matches taped on July 22nd at the Prudential Center in Newark, New Jersey. In the main event, Dalton Castle and the boys defeated the Trust Busters in six-man action. In the episode's one title match, ROH World Six-Man Tag Team champs the Mogul Embassy beat the team of the Iron Savages and Jack Jameson. This was Mogul Embassy's seventh defense of the title. ROH World Women's Champion Athena appeared in a non-title match defeating Christina Marie. This is Athena's 23rd non-title match since winning the championship last December. Also on the show, Josh Woods defeated Eli Isom in a Pure Rules match. An eliminator tournament was begun on the show to determine a new number one contender to Samoa Joe's ROH World Television title. In 4 tournament matches presented, Gravity defeated Anthony Henry, Tony Nese upended Cheeseburger, Christopher Daniels beat J.D. Drake, and Shane Taylor beat Serpentico. In other selected results, the Kingdom topped Rhett Titus and Tracy Williams, and Layla Hirsch went over Becca. In NXT news, Shawn Michaels held a media call yesterday ahead of this weekend's NXT Great American Bash Premium Live event. During the call, Michaels announced that NXT would be presenting its next PLE, No Mercy, in Bakersfield, California on Saturday, September 30th. The event marks NXT's first West Coast show since Stand and Deliver last April. Michaels addressed several other NXT-related issues during the call, including the in-ring debut of Olympic gold medalist Gable Steveson, scheduled to take place at the Great American Bash against Baron Corbin.
A little bit abrupt, but I wanted to throw him into the deep end, and let's see how this is going to go. There's only one way, as I spoke to earlier, that people learn how to do this stuff, and that's by getting in the ring and doing it night after night, week after week, month after month. And I think he has, obviously he's an incredibly intelligent, talented young man. So let's start getting him to work.
Now with a look at Impact Wrestling, here's the Wrestling News' Lou Kipilman.
Impact Wrestling aired last night on Access TV, featuring matches taped on July 16th at the St. Clair College Sportsplex in Windsor, Ontario. In the main event, Eric Young wrestled his first Impact television match since returning to the company, defeating Nick Aldis. After the bout, Young was attacked by Diener and Khan of The Design.
After everything that happened, after Slammiversary, Diener wants more.
Yeah! Oh, and again! Yeah! Young demolished by The Design, and Diener still wants more.
And now it's Diener himself. He wants to put the exclamation point on the sentence.
Impact World Champion Alex Shelley reformed his Time Splitters team with Kushida in a victorious outing over Brian Myers and Moose. After the match, Bully Ray joined Myers and Moose in beating Shelley and Kushida down. Josh Alexander attempted to make the save, but was attacked by X-Division champion Leo Rush, who joined in on the assault until Chris Sabin came down to help clear the ring of the heels. The opening match saw Impact World Women's Champion Trinity teamed with Danny Luna to defeat Kylan King and Taylor Wilde. After the bout was over, former Women's Champion Deonna Purrazzo came to the ring and announced she wants a rematch against Trinity at Emergence. In other results, Zachary Wentz defeated Speedball Mike Bailey. Giselle Shaw defeated Masha Slamovich. Johnny Swinger defeated Zicky Dice in a Loser Leaves Impact match. And during the pre-show, Joe Hendry and Yuya Uemura defeated Kenny King and Sheldon Jean. For the Wrestling News, I'm Lou Kipilman.
Major League Wrestling also streamed last night on its YouTube channel, featuring matches that were taped on April 6th at the Melrose Ballroom in Queens, as well as on July 8th at the 2300 Arena in Philadelphia. In the second and final match of MLW's Opera Cup first round, Tracy Williams defeated Tony Deppen. Williams now moves on to face Davey Boy Smith Jr. in the final. Smith defeated Calvin Tankman on last week's program. Also on the show, Ricky Shane Page pinned Matthew Justice, and Mr. Thomas defeated Jay Bougie. In ratings news, last Wednesday's Dynamite brought 898,000 viewers to TBS, a 5.7% decrease from last week's audience of 953,000, according to WrestleNomics. Despite the decline, Wednesday was the second most viewed episode of Dynamite since 954,000 tuned in on March 22nd. The rating in the key 18 to 49-year-old demographic was .29, representing 383,000 viewers on average. That number was down 58,000 viewers on average from last week's Dynamite, which drew a .34 rating. In news from Japan, New Japan Pro Wrestling presented Day 9 of the 33rd Annual G1 Climax Tournament yesterday in Tokyo. Victorious in Block A matches were IWGP World Champion Sanada, Hikuleo, Gabe Kidd, and Shota Umino. Sanada leads Block A with 10 points. Winning their Block B matches were Will Ospreay, El Phantasmo, Tangaloa, and Taichi. Ospreay leads Block B with 8 points. Day 10 of the tournament is set to take place on Sunday in Nagoya, Japan. With some news on AEW and Scorpio Sky, here's the Wrestling News' Lou Kipilman.
Scorpio Sky was pulled from his scheduled match with Kip Sabian during last Wednesday night's AEW Rampage taping, with Tony Khan confirming to the live crowd that Sky was injured. Sky was replaced in the match by Commander. It's not yet known how long Sky may be out, or the nature of his injury. He recently returned to action after a one-year hiatus. In more AEW news, Orange Cassidy has set a new company record with his defense of the international title against AR Fox on last Wednesday's Dynamite. The match marked his 27th defense of the title, more successful championship defenses than any other title holder in AEW history. Cassidy first won the international title, then known as the All-Atlantic title, last autumn from Pac. For the Wrestling News, I'm Lou Kipilman.
And we close with an update on The Iron Claw, the upcoming motion picture about the Von Erich family. The movie is set to be officially released to theaters by independent studio A24 on December 22nd, according to Variety. The movie, written and directed by Sean Durkin, stars Zac Efron as Kevin Von Erich, Jeremy Allen White as Kerry Von Erich, Harris Dickinson as David Von Erich, Holt McElhaney as Fritz Von Erich, and Maura Tierney as Doris Von Erich. And before we leave you today, we'd like to remind you that however you consume your content, you can find the Wrestling News 24 hours a day and 7 days a week across social media. On Twitter, follow us at Wrestling News AV. Our Facebook page is also Wrestling News AV. The Wrestling News can also be found on the Arcadian Vanguard YouTube page. And for those who utilize Amazon Echo devices, just tell Alexa to play the Wrestling News podcast. And remember to make sure you add podcast at the end. Once again, for daily updates, breaking news, and more, follow the Wrestling News across social media. And that's the news for today. If anything happens, we will be here to tell you about it. No clickbait, no paywall, just the Wrestling News. The Wrestling News is a division of Arcadian Vanguard, and the Wrestling Newscast is a production of the Arcadian Vanguard Podcast Network.